Welcome to Hotline TV, everybody. I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Sean Miller. Sarah Palin's first post-election interview with Fox News' Greta Van Susteren aired last night. Let's see some highlights.
People seem to have such a strong reaction to you right from the get-go. They either loved you or they went at you. Why do you think that is?
Just being an outsider and an unknown, certainly there was a tremendous amount of curiosity there, and some chose to satisfy their curiosity based on facts in someone's record, and others chose to satisfy their curiosity based on those, I'm going to characterize them as those bloggers in their parents' basement just talking garbage. And, you know, that's somebody's choice, I guess, and where they want to go to write about someone, talk about someone, but there were some oddities there.
2012.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen. We're going to have a 2012.
We are going to have a 2012. I don't know who's going to be a part of it. You know, I have, faith is a very big part of my life, and putting my life in my Creator's hands. This is what I always do. I'm like, okay, God, if there is an open door for me somewhere, this is what I always pray. I'm like, don't let me miss the open door. Show me where the open door is. And even if it's cracked up a little bit, man, maybe I'll plow right on through that and maybe prematurely plow through it, but don't let me miss an open door. And if there is an open door in 12 or 4 years later, and if it's something that is going to be good for my family, for my state, for my nation, an opportunity for me, then I'll plow through that door. But I can't predict what's going to happen. You know, I can't predict what's going to happen a day from now, much less 4 years from now.
Okay, Sean Miller, a recent USA Today Gallup poll asked people whether Palin was going to be a major political force for years to come. This was regardless of their own impression of her. 49% said they thought so. 49% also said no. That, to me, I'm no math whiz, but that looks like an even split. All right, with Americans on the fence, Sean, do you think this post-election interview, this round of interviews, this media blitz, if you will, that she seems to be doing, you think it's going to help or hurt her in the long run?
Well, I question her choice of who she did the interviews with, because it was reported last week that she was getting interview requests from Larry King, from Barbara Walters, from Oprah.
Well, she is doing Larry King.
Oh, she is doing Larry
King in the future.
King.
All right, yeah.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, though, she chose, for her first major interview to go and sort of speak to a more conservative audience, which I think isn't where she had her problem, in the election. I mean, she had a very easy time speaking to conservative Republicans. They liked her throughout the campaign.
Right.
These are the people who she needs to win over.
But she moved over to NBC, which clearly was not considered, to the McCain-Palin campaign, the most friendly media organization. Right. She talked to Matt Lauer this morning. What do you think overall of the performance that she gave? Did she answer any questions that people had about her?
I don't think so. I think those questions remain. I think, perhaps maybe a little bit more time needed to elapse before she came out and started to do these interviews. The Matt Lauer interview, I thought, did a good job at sort of showing her at home, interacting with her family, something that you didn't really see a lot during the campaign.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, her answers on, questions of what happened with the clothes. I mean, why are they still in the belly of the plane? That's why I want to know.
Why do you keep hearing about the belly? I don't understand the belly of the plane thing. And all these diva asking Diet Coke things. I mean, she seems very scripted, even in these supposedly unscripted answers.
Right. Well, I would say, if I were her, media strategist, I would have the auction for these clothes right now. I mean, why aren't they out in front of the story? Why are we still talking about these expenditures if she didn't authorize them? I mean, why? And to segue into another point, she's talking about in her interview with Fox's Van Susteren, she's saying when she arrived in St. Paul, she wasn't with her staff. She was surrounded by a vice presidential staff who she wasn't familiar with.
Right.
Why didn't she say to the McCain camp, look, I want to bring on a couple key people from Alaska. It was reported that some of her chief of staff was traveling with her briefly. She did bring on Chris Perry, her Anchorage office manager, for a period of time. I don't understand why she wasn't able to form a core group of people around her to sort of provide her that support, which she was obviously lacking.
Interesting point. I think for me, the quick takeaway from these media interviews is that despite the fact that it's clear she wants to sort of reposition herself, recreate her own image, she's still not the best messenger for her own message,
Right.
trying to answer the questions, like, for example, the question about Africa, whether she thought it was a country or a continent. Bill Kristol from the Weekly Standard was on Fox News over the weekend. He answered that question. He's one of her biggest defenders. He's one
Right.
of her biggest promoters throughout the campaign. He answered that question very effectively, very succinctly, and at the end of it, you understood the defense of what it was she said.
Right.
She then, with Matt Lauer, or was it, I'm sorry, maybe with Greta Van Susteren, confused me again to the point that I watched it and now
Right.
I'm sort of confused again. So, you know, unfortunately, I think for her own, for the cases that she tries to make for her own story, it can be relatively ineffective. And then she started talking about how, you know, she doesn't think she was managed poorly by the
Right.
McCain campaign. She thinks they managed her well. But on the other hand, you know, she doesn't think that she should have been held back from doing as many media interviews as she
Right,
did.
and you know, going back and again, she's talking about, you know, she's tisking the media again in these interviews. In her interview with CNN, she made some more comments about bad apples in terms, you know, as far as stories being out there. And you know, quite frankly, I don't know why she's still talking about that. I don't know why she's saying, well, the media is responsible for how I'm being portrayed. I mean, it's, you know, as a governor, I mean, she has a you know, bully pulpit of such, you know, where she can go out there, she can deliver a message on her own, and I don't know why she needs to be out there bashing reporters.
Clearly, this is a topic that we could talk ad nauseum about, but really quick, last question, 10 seconds, 2012, how does she stand?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be a question of how she ages. I mean, I think that
That's right, I forgot. This is the Sean Miller who thinks that she's a really attractive woman.
no. Well, I don't mean that physically. What I mean is you know,
How she weathers.
How she weathers. 3 years from now, are we still going to be talking about the clothes in the belly of the plane, Africa? What countries are part of the North American Free Trade Agreement?
Indeed, asking for a Diet Coke from Nicole Wallace. All right, well, there you go. There's a very wise and sage wisdom from Sean Miller. But that's all the time we have for Hotline TV today. Until tomorrow, I'm John Mercurio.
And I'm Sean Miller. See you next time.